So, welcome everyone to Thrivecast, Unlocking Your Full Potential. I'm Oscar, I'm an emotional fitness coach, and I help people embody their higher self so they can live their true purpose. And with me today, I have Katarina Hanssens Carlsson. Katarina, please introduce yourself.
Thank you. I'm a global entrepreneurial consultant and trainer and a global speaker. And my mission is to transform 195 schools in the world. So that's me. All right. So today we're going to talk about reframing our emotions because our emotions are crucial to how we are. And my first question is, why are our emotions so important, Oscar?
Well, essentially, because what makes you feel that you're alive is your emotions. It's your energies in motions. It's what is inside of your body. You see, if you have a thought, but it doesn't have an emotion, you don't really get that. You don't get that your much of your juices flowing. So why do you have emotions? Well, it's essentially what makes life worth living. You are a creature of energy. And so you love that energy is flowing through your body. You see, one of the worst states might, for me, actually not be necessarily shame, even though it's extraordinarily low. It can be apathy. When you don't feel anything in your life, if you feel that life is just a flat line, essentially when you look upon you have this beeping thing when you lie there and you see like this is your heartbeat, right? And when your heartbeat goes flat line, it's like then there's nothing.
You're
There's
dead.
nothing. Exactly. You're dead. So essentially apathy, or when numbness, when you don't feel anything, then what's the point? And that's when people start perceiving meaningless. You see, meaningless doesn't have to be about anything. It's like, oh, nothing in my life matters anymore. No, nothing in your life matters right now because you simply do not feel anything matters. You see, you're in a state of apathy. You're not excited, but you're not sad either. And so everything essentially loses its meaning. So emotions, it's what brings you alive. It's what makes life and in the now so extraordinary fascinating because it is what essentially energizes you to your core. That's what I would say. What would you say, Katrina?
Well, I would say it's what distinguishes us from robots, which is really essential to know nowadays. That as robots may, AI may be able to somehow create emotions, but robots don't have a soul. And our soul records every single emotion. Why? Because it becomes wisdom. Whatever we go through, whatever pain we go through, whatever joy we go through, it's recorded in our soul. And that's what we take with us. Whether we like it or not, we take it with us. And our spirit records every single thought. So our emotions reflect our thoughts, and our thoughts reflect our emotions. Which comes first? Well, it depends. If you're more of a thinking person, then your emotions are going to reflect that. If you're more of an emotional person, your thoughts are going to reflect that. So, Oscar, you were talking about apathy. How do we get to an apathetic state? Is because we've repressed. Nobody is truly apathetic. Nobody is. we've repressed all our emotions. We're back into our heads, and we think we feel nothing because we've decided to feel nothing. And then we get to judge the world that it's meaningless. Well, you know, that's the freedom that we have. We can judge the world if we want to, but is it actually going to make us happy? No. So our emotions are guidelines. Our emotions, our feelings show us where we're going in life. You know, are we going in a way that is actually going downhill? Are we feeling sadder and sadder, more scared, more repressed? Or are we going upwards? Are we thriving and thriving and thriving more every day? Are we happier? How are we experiencing more joy every day? That's a good question. They're guidelines. So that's why they're important. So my next question, unless you have something to add to that.
No, I love that. I
Okay.
love that. Let's continue.
How do our emotions affect our attitudes and mindsets?
Yeah, we essentially sort of answered that, but let's go into it
Yeah.
deeper.
Yes.
Well, again, it's like the emotion that you have affects your thoughts. It's like you have to think about your whole body system as an alignment system. You see, your emotions will affect your thoughts, and your thoughts will affect your emotions. And then if you're an emotional person and so it affects your thoughts, then your thoughts will affect your actions. If you're apathetic, you might not do anything because you're essentially saying in yourself, life is meaningless. So you become someone who might just passively watch television until you die. You can lie on the couch and do nothing and need entertainment because you simply don't have anything that is going on emotionally in your life. So you become someone who's absolutely in need of newness outside of you because you have an incapacity inside of yourself to cause newness in the way you're thinking. um, so so you can go into so many different types of states depending on what emotion you have. In another way, you can feel so uplifted, so full of life, and you start thinking it's like, oh, I love what is going on right now. My life is just flourishing in the way it's happening. And so from there, you start like, oh, I want to smile towards the world. And you walk up to strangers and maybe you connect with them, or you feel that you're more alive in your business and you want to do that. You're like, oh, today I'm going to create this system because I feel so alive. I feel this is so great. So you see, it's like it becomes the meaning that you're giving to it, and it becomes the emotion that you're having as well. And so it's really important to be able to shift this and be the one who chooses how you feel rather than circumstances. Is what guides you to feel the way you feel. um, and there's so much more to speak about this, obviously. Katarina, what would you say?
Yes. Yes. It's up to us, isn't it? Our emotions are guidelines, but as you say, Oscar, if we're on sitting on the sofa and just being fed by media, by soap operas, because our nature needs emotion, needs to feel alive. So what are we doing? Are we looking for inspiration, looking for energy emotions from from TV, from movies? Are we doing that? Or can we create that ourselves? And to create our emotions ourselves, we need to take responsibility. So for me, for example, what is depression? For me, depression is when we've chosen a state of sadness and it's frozen. We're frozen in a state of sadness, and we're frozen in a story, and we're stuck in the story. And this can go on for years and years and years. There are some people who are depressed the whole of their lives and they're on medication, and the medication doesn't make any difference. It just takes them to more of an apathetic state. So to let go of depression, we need to let go of our story, because our past doesn't exist anymore. We're in the present. Whatever happened in the past doesn't exist anymore. And it's if we want to let go of a depression, we have to say, I am tired. I'm tired of my story. It is boring. Nobody wants to listen to it anymore. I don't want to listen to it anymore. And move out of the story. When you move out of the story, you move out of the emotion, and you can get your life back. That's how simple it is. It takes hard work. It takes taking complete responsibility, but that's how it is. And then you can have a mindset that works in every area of your life, a mindset that works for your health, your finances, your work, your relationships, every area of your life. And that the most successful people in life that I know have actually been through depression, been through abuse, been through all this, and decided, I'm not going to take it. I'm going to have a mindset that is at peak the whole time. So, Oscar, do you have anything to add to that, or should we go to the next question?
Now let's go to the next one.
Okay. So, how can we switch our emotions to stay in peak state?
Exactly, and I think you really went into this, because when you flip your story, you flip your scene, and so if you're feeling an emotion, you have to understand that you need to feel it, but you need to feel it from a place of awareness, a place where you are not your emotion. You feel your emotion. You're noticing your emotion. You're being with your emotion. You see, your emotion is a guide, as you're saying, Katarina. It's a guideline. Your emotion is not your enemy. It's like pain is not your enemy. The bad emotions that you're feeling is not your enemy. It's showing you something. It's an energy in motion, and it has an alignment. You see, the only thing that stops us from really flipping this scene, this story, is us not being willing to follow the emotion to its core, of what it's truly showing you about you, what is the need. You see, it's like this. There's always, every human being has needs, right? So you have a strategy that you normally do to fulfill a need, but and that strategy can be right and it can be wrong, but essentially it's like you're doing something, but what is making you do something is that you're feeling something, whether it's good feeling or bad feeling. Usually, if you have a bad feeling, when you're feeling sad, you feel lonely, you feel insecure, you're feeling powerless, all of these, that's an indication that you are not meeting your needs. Every bad feeling that you're having is an indication of you not truly taking care of your needs. And needs are life forces. You see, it's like it's safety, security, autonomy, integrity, all of those. Like when you taste those words, you can feel that they contain a certain type of energy. And that's the energy that our soul uses as nourishment in order to complete these stories that we have in our mind. You see, the story was caused by you not meeting your need in the first place. So you need to go back and meet your needs. Feel what it is, the true need. Because that's the whole thing about knowing yourself. You have to know yourself first. You see, you cannot jump ahead and like, I want to be successful. No, there is a path to success. And the path is through you being with your emotions, and then to your thoughts, and then to your memories, and then to the needs. It's essentially you coming into the understanding of what is the complexity of you. You cannot move away from who you are. You need to face it full on. And so it's like it sounds like a lot of work. Yes, but when you come out from the other side, that's when you're truly authentic. That's when people can feel like, oh, I felt so uplifted in his or her energy. It made me feel so alive. It made me want to do things with my life. It aspired me to create these beautiful things.
Yeah.
You see, it is a work. But when you get to that other side, things are glorious because you become the one who chooses your destiny. You choose your destiny by choosing the emotions and thoughts and feelings and values and needs that completes your soul's yearning. What would you say, Katarina?
Absolutely. It's a lot. Oscar, emotions are huge. However, let me give you an example. Last week, I had a very important meeting with someone who didn't show up. And my emotion was shock. And then I, if we're shocked, basically I was judging him, right? And I was making him wrong, me right, and I didn't feel good about it. Nobody feels good about judging anyone or themselves. So I shifted my emotion by choosing to feel surprised. Because surprise, there's no judgment in surprise. In shock, there's judgment. Because I was shocked by his behavior or non-action or whatever it was. But surprise is more like I was a little bit more curious. I wonder what happened. And then I started to feel better. And my thoughts were, aha, now when I'm shocked, it kind of spoils my day because this is really important. But if I'm just surprised, it doesn't spoil my day. It's just, I'm surprised. So we can shift our emotions. We have the power to shift our emotions by just changing the emotions that we choose to feel, which is extremely powerful. Because from shock, I can go to surprise. From surprise, I can go to curious. Curious is closer to happiness, closer to joy, closer to a great mindset. And then, how can that spoil my day? That I'm curious. So we can choose the vocabulary of our emotions. When we choose that, we choose the way we feel, we choose our mind state, our state of mind, and we choose how the day is going. We choose it. So we choose that by choosing a different emotion, It's still authentic. It's just a shift. And then we choose our thoughts that go with it. So this is really, really powerful.
I love that. I love that you're saying that, because in the beginning of this, I was just like, "Ah, I know we were talking about something. Now it's like there was something there. And now you're really coming into precisely what we're talking about, right? It's like that if you have vocabulary for emotions, and essentially emotions that are close to one another, exactly as you're saying, you could shift to curiosity or to excitement. For me, for instance, like I can feel tension. If I have an idea of tension or nervousness, but instead of saying nervousness, I move into, oh, I'm excited. It's like your mind or your, because they are these qualities are so close to one another. So your mind is open to shift to that understanding of the energy rather than staying stuck in nervousness or tension. So exactly what you're saying there, Katarina, and I thank you for that, because that was like, I was like, what was it that I really found out? And now you brought this to my attention by telling me your story about this. So that's really beautiful. But I want, for our listeners and for the one who like looks at this video, understand that when you have vocabulary for your emotions and you become aware of where in the moment, in the now, are you feeling this, and what is it that you're feeling, and what is close to it, what is, with a very subtle shift, this could actually be turned to something that makes makes you feel much more alive, much more aligned, all of these things. Um, and they are there. It's like, and this is the thing, it's like we have the capacity to like shift in an instant, because simply it's about how we interpret energies. But we can only interpret energies normally if we only have the vocabulary for it. So if someone who says like, I feel good and I feel bad, then you don't even have the span of the capacity of shifting, because you don't have the words for it. Yeah. Would you add something to that, Katarina?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because I mean, this whole conversation originated um, last week. You were so excited about an emotion that you felt, and then shifting the emotion to something else. That's what inspired us both. It was a great conversation. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I love that we brought it back. I was like, oh, I was grasping after it,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
now we
Wonderful.
found it again. Yeah,
I just want to say that our natural state, if you look at children, our natural state is joy. But how many adults do you honestly see are in complete and utter joy?
yeah,
Not many. I mean, if you go out in the street, people don't even look at you sometimes,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know. That,
yeah,
and we're becoming so robotic, but our natural state, and our natural state of genius, by the way, is joy. Einstein was in joy. He was in curiosity the whole time, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
geniuses are in joy because
yeah,
they're always discovering something new, right? So are children. So if you want a guideline, if you're not in joy, then ask yourself, how can I shift from depression to sadness to feeling a bit off to being a little pissed off, being a little angry, because anger has an emotion, has power, to a little bit of okay, well, to action, because anger can inspire you to action, and to intolerance, because we get what we tolerate, right? And then you start moving towards inquiry. Well, how could I feel more joy? Well, I could do this, I could do that, I could play badminton. I love badminton. No, that's not me. That's just an example. So we could, if the more you are in joy, the more you are one with the universe. Okay, that's what I want to say.
Yeah,
Anything else
yeah.
to add?
Yeah, no, exactly as you're saying. There's a scale to it, and the more words we have, the more we can move up that scale and come to these places where all of a sudden you see is like when you come to anger, then you're fueled. Then you're fueled. Like then something is moving. That's way better than apathy because
Yeah.
you're moving. You're on fire, right? But then from anger you move into courage, perhaps like courage is like yeah now like I can do this. It's like there's fuel. So it is really this stepwise fashion, and when we have moved through these and our body becomes so used to flipping between states, then it only needs for you to see like, okay, I have fear here and I have, now this is a harsh example, right? But like I have fear here, but I can choose love.
Yeah.
And you can move to that by simply seeing the polarity of an emotion and understanding like, oh, maybe this is better. So you have boldness and you have hesitancy. So, oh, I hesitate, but the opposite of this is bold. So I can move from hesitate to bold because it's simply on the same frequency. So, yeah, that's something for our listeners to take in as well.
Beautiful.
Yes.
All right, Oscar. So how do people contact you?
You contact me through my website, realitydecoding.com, or my Facebook group, Live Your Purpose. And I also have a YouTube channel called Oscar Nygren. And you, Katarina, how do
For
people reach
me,
you?
it's LinkedIn. I usually leave a link with the video, but contact me at Catherine Carlsson with a K and C and two S's, Catherine Carlsson. And next week, we are going to be talking about entrepreneurship is a spiritual game. See you next week.
See you next week, everyone. Take care.